one has to do at the same time.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, if there are two different pipelines, there is no dependency. Yes, you can run the same pipeline also, but there is a problem that the data might get, duplicated, because if you run multiple times, right, the source will give you the same records in the two executions, and the target will have the duplicate records. So that is not the way we actually do, and that is not recommended. So one task for each pipeline we will run, and the other for the other thing.
Okay.
Any other questions, Tim, on creating and managing assets? I mean, we have discussed that. How did we create and everything?
Manoj, there is one question like when we create a pipeline,
Mm-hmm.
so suppose there is already a project folder, right?
Right.
Which is like main folder where everybody is dumping their which is related to all project pipelines, right? But
Correct.
if we want to create our own space, like I want to try something on my own, and then
Right.
once that works fine, then I'll put it on the existing project space.
Right.
So how that is to be done?
So in yesterday's session, we have discussed this creating project space and creating project, right?
Yes, 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 yes.
So if we have the admin access, so we will be able to create a separate project space under the project space section. Once we create that, you can be able to create the project as well, because as you are an admin, you can create the project as well. Then we can create our own project with our project name, and we can write our pipelines within that. So once that is done, we can move the pipeline from one project to another project. So the moment of the project I have not discussed yesterday, because something that is advanced for the team. Uh, but I will discuss in the further sessions when we will be able to create multiple projects and moving it to one project to another project. Yes, I mean, to answer your question, Jayant, yes, we can create it in different project, and we can move it using the options that is there in the Snaplogic, that copy option, and we can move the pipeline to the intended or the final target project space or the project.
Okay, and is it like if I have the suppose on a live project, if I have account, right?
Right.
Anyone who is having a account, only he can access the Snaplogic account, right?
Correct.
So if I'm just trying to put a question here. Suppose I have an account in one of the Snaplogic accounts. So
Okay.
whenever I create, by default those pipelines are getting created into my account.
Yes, I mean, if there are any common pipelines that the company has been shared all across, once your
Okay.
account is created, you will be able to see all those things. But there are some private, you can give the access also, as we have discussed, to the project space and projects.
Mhm.
So based on that, if you don't have access, you won't be able to see that. But the public project spaces, like yesterday we have discussed this project space that is given in the trial version of the Snaplogic. So
Right,
that
right,
we
right.
can see, because that is something public. But if it is private, we won't be able to see it, or necessary permissions has to be given actually.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions, team? Okay, shall we go ahead with the session then?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So till now we are able to understand what is the basic building blocks of Snaplogic and how we can create and manage the assets. Right. Yesterday's session is more about the managing assets, uh, and different tabs or different attributes that are available in different components of Snaplogic. What are the three different components? We have designer, manager, and dashboard. And what are the different attributes we have respective to each component? So we have covered almost everything. Now today we will uh, try to look at the designer part, okay, mostly on the designer, and how we can create and manage a pipeline. So today's session is all about how we can create and manage a pipeline. So as we have already discussed, what is a pipeline? Pipeline is a set of connected snaps, okay, which gives us the ability to perform various business logics as given here according to the customer needs. So this we are discussing from session one, that why do we need to create a pipeline to connect or integrate different systems, which one is from source and the data from the source to the target. Target could be anything and the source could be anything. So for that we need a pipeline which has a different combination of snaps. They said that connected snaps, the snaps can be anything, but there should be different snaps in a pattern, and that defines based on the business logic or the customer. So that's where it is. I mean, that's what they are trying to tell us. So I have taken this screenshot to let you know that I was discussing about the organizations earlier, right? All the parts or all the components or all the attributes within this designer, you already know most of them. I mean, 80% of the things you already know. The one thing that I want to highlight is the arc. So I am telling you that above this there will be another drop box where we will be shifting it to shifting from development environment to test or UAT or production. So there will be a Dropbox, right? So I was able to find this screenshot where you can see this drop down. They have created this their own organization, something like this. You can have any name, and they have suffixed with dev in. So this is a development environment for them. Okay, likewise there will be a drop down like this after your username. Then you will be able to shift across the multiple tenants, like development tenant or testing or production likewise. Okay, so this is the I mean, the intention of the screenshot is let you know that this is where we can see the drop down. So this is the snaplex that I'm telling you here. So this is the snaplex, right? And sorry, and above that there is this org where we can select the respective org and we can shift accordingly and work on it. Okay, and most of the components here or the attributes here we have already discussed. Okay, I have, let me zoom in now. I have taken another screenshot also to give you more information on yesterday's session, how we have segregated or differentiated the project space, project, and a pipeline. We have spoken about the project space, how we can create the project space in a manager, right? How we can create a project in the, I mean, under that, right? Under the Snaplogic, in the manager, how we can create the project under the project space. Under that, how we can create the pipeline. So let me show you live that. So in the pipelines, okay. So as we have seen earlier in the last session, projects is the project space that they have given already in the, I mean, as it is publicly available for the trial version, they have given this project space. In designer, we have seen already yesterday's session. If someone was not able to recap it, just go through the yesterday's session, you will be able to know it. So in these projects we have that was given already by the Snaplogic. But let's say if we have an access to this to create a project space, we can create another one here, maybe Manoj Kumar or maybe something related to the business name. Let's say I have sales operations to be done. I can create a sales project space here. Under that, I can create a sales project and then create a pipelines accordingly. But for now, we don't have that flexibility. We have to see, or we have to look at the project space itself. So this is the project space that we can see in the pipeline section. Okay, once we click on it, there will be different projects. So that is what we are trying to show you here. So this is the project space. For example, demonstration that they have, it's the project space. Okay, and the next one, they have this project called for videos. This is the project for them. So for now, for us, Manoj Shuri Shetty is the project name. So project space is projects. Manoj Shuri Shetty is the project name. And then we are looking at the pipelines. So we can define or we can according to the project space and project name, we are gonna create a pipelines accordingly. So let's say, for example, I'm doing some marketing. So marketing will be my project space. Project name would be something, I'm trying to, let's say, trying to push my marketing information which is there in one system to another system. Let's say Salesforce to NetSuite or something. So I will make my project name accordingly, and I will build my pipelines and I will have their names accordingly. So the structure goes from project space to project to pipeline. So in the real time also we can see projects is the project space, Manoj Shuri Shetty is the project, and there are different bunch of pipelines that we are playing around from session one. Likewise, we can see the others also. Test Salesforce is one of the projects given, but there is no. Um, does anyone has any question? Okay. So test Salesforce is a project that they have given, and as as there are no pipelines under this, right? We cannot see anything. As there are no pipelines in September 2009, there are no pipelines. We were not able to see anything. This one we have created yesterday, and we were not able to see. So likewise, if there are any pipelines already created, then we will be able to see them. Otherwise, we won't be able to see them. But we are playing around with this project with my name, so we are able to see the pipelines. Okay, makes sense. And the other two screenshots also. So this is about the middle tab, which is the pipelines. The other tab is snaps. Snaps, we already know what we contain basically in the snaps and everything. We are going through these again because we are mostly focusing on designer today. So that's where we are going through all these things again. Snaps, we already know how we can drag them and how we can push them uh, to this editor section, and we can play around with that, right? Patterns, you already know that I have discussed. Patterns to so patterns also follows the same structure. Like, this is the project space, project, and the pipelines. Project space, project, and pipeline. Okay. Why do we have the pipelines already available here? As this is a pattern given by the Snaplogic for us, and this can be used as a template to build our pipeline, the complete pipeline according to the business need. This acts as a common template for all the things that we are going to develop using this pattern. Okay. If they say DynamoDB patterns, right, we will be using DynamoDB maybe as a source or a destination. But if you can see here, as they name this pipeline, right, CSV2 to DynamoDB. By the name itself, we can understand that they are trying to read a file and they are trying to push the data to DynamoDB. So it's suggested that it's a common suggestion from Snaplogic that make your Snaplogic pipeline name understandable so that some XYZ developer logs in and he will be able to understand what is going on within the pipeline by seeing the name itself. So I don't know how they have created earlier, right? But by seeing the name itself, I was able to, and I am able to understand what are they doing within the pipeline. I don't need to go and click it and see what is happening around, but instead I can just see the pipeline and understand, okay, high level, that okay, they are trying to read some CSV file, they are trying to push the data to DynamoDB. Likewise, they are trying to push read the data from NetSuite. NetSuite is some external application, and they are trying to push the data to DynamoDB. Redshift to DynamoDB. Source is Redshift, target is DynamoDB. SFDC to DynamoDB. SFDC is nothing but Salesforce here. Okay, shortcut for Salesforce is SFDC. That's how they call it actually. So whenever we create a project space, the intention of this things is, whenever we create a project space or a project, it should be conventional and it should be understandable to the person when someone who don't know or who doesn't know anything about this, they can be able to see it. So that's what the basic intention of these patterns. I mean, pattern in the sense, uh, the structure, you know, and by name of the project itself, I should be able to understand. So they have given this free trial patterns. Okay, what does they have? Redshift to NetSuite, Salesforce to NetSuite, Workday to NetSuite. So they have used NetSuite as a target. Okay, and they can name, or they can take the data from Redshift or Salesforce or Workday. Okay, it is a suggestion from Snaplogic that maybe having a same name, maybe they could have NetSuite patterns itself, but they have given like this to show us it is not mandatory that we have to go with NetSuite patterns itself. We can have any name. That's where they have this free trial patterns. Okay, it's not mandatory, but it is suggested that we should be having the same name as the pipeline to the project to the project space. Okay, likewise we were able to see, or we are able to see, a different set of projects which has different business logics according to that Redshift loader patterns. So data is being loaded to the Redshift from MySQL, Oracle, SQL Server. Okay, likewise Snowflake. Data is being pushed from AWS through Snowflake, as MySQL to Snowflake, Oracle to Snowflake, SQL Server's schema bulk load to Snowflake. So something like that. SQS, SFDC to SQS, SQS to Redshift. Okay. So in future, when you are going to create a project or a project space, just keep it in your mind that whatever the intended business logic that you are trying to solve there, maybe have it in that way. So it should be, so that in future you will be able to understand clearly. Once you build more pipelines, you will not get confused, and you will be able to track it correctly, so that it will be in a correct structure also. Make sense? So we these are the three types or three catalogs, we call it, from the basic convention of Snaplogic. Snaps is a catalog, pipelines is a catalog, or patterns is a catalog, or subcomponents of a designer also we can call it. So, but if we go by the standards of a Snaplogic, we call it as a catalog. Okay, Snaps catalog, pipelines catalog, patterns catalog. Okay, make sense? And we can call it as subcomponents of designer also, because these are some of the components that is there within the designer itself. Make sense? We have already covered all of this mostly, right? But we are reiterating just in case. Okay, as we are discussing the designer in depth, so we are going through these things again. Now comes to the editor section. So what is the editor section? The screen, the white screen that you are able to see is the editor section. Editor section is nothing but you are able to take some snap, right? And you were able to edit, or you were able to do some sort of operations within this snap, right? You can be able to create multiple snaps like this, right? So this is a pipeline. There are different combinations of pipelines, right? You will be able to edit the accounts, views, and info also. So that's where we call it as a editor section, where you can edit your pipeline and do the necessary actions on this. Okay, so they have highlighted this, right? This is previous version of Snaplogic here. So let's say if the pipeline is not saved, they were showing us in a different color earlier in the previous version of Snaplogic. This screenshot is from the previous version of Snaplogic, where they used to actually indicate the pipeline in a different colors. Let's say if that is already saved, they are showing in normal black color, if you can see. Let's say if the pipeline is not saved, or they are in editing mode, they are showing it in orange or yellow, whatever the color you call it. Okay, this is the earlier convention. Now the basic or now the actual pipeline looks like they are providing us this star, which means I am still editing. Once I save it, editing is done. So there won't be any star. Okay, let's say I have added something. If you can see, if I add this file reader again, you will be able to see that star again. Why? Because we are trying to edit this pipeline. That's where for our Snaplogic, what it is trying to let us know, you are doing something. Okay, uh, maybe save it, or maybe before closing it, save it, something like that. So even if I try to close it, it will give me a pop-up that changes are not saved, right? You have unsaved changes. So you can identify by seeing the pipeline itself. If you are working on this pipeline and if you see that, okay, this pipeline is not saved, you can go and save it. Saving is nothing but once your changes are done, complete changes are done, you can save it. Now I can close it because the changes are being done and I have saved. Snaplogic does not throw me any pop-up saying that changes are not saved. I have saved the changes and then I closed it. Okay, likewise I can close this. If I want to reopen, go to the pipeline section, go to manager, sorry, Manoj, uh, go to my pipeline. Don't worry about this, I will let you know. You can be able to see your pipeline once again. If you, let's say, do something, it will again ask us to save it out. Save it, then only you will be able to close it. Otherwise it will show you the pop-up that it is not saved. Okay, this is the earlier convention they have, but now they have changed it to star. And another thing that we need to understand is, let's say if there are no pipelines, let's say I have opened everything. Okay, I have opened 3 pipelines. Okay, I have done all my work. What I want to do now is just close all the things. Okay, now if you can see, Snaplogic itself has given me one default pipeline space. This is the editing space, correct? I have closed all my pipelines till now. I have developed, but it should be blank for our understanding. I mean, as per our understanding till now, it should be blank. But Snaplogic has given us this basic or default pipeline space where we can edit. We can also add the pipelines now. Sorry, snaps now because of this default space. How they were able to give me this default space? By my name. MS is nothing but Manoj Surisetti, new pipeline 1 this sequence will go on. Okay, let's say if I have closed this, see, I have closed 1, now they have given me 2. I have closed it again, now they have given me 3. Likewise, in Snaplogic, the main thing that you need to understand is there will be editing space at any time. Even if you try to close the default pipeline that is being given there, it will try to give you another one. The sequence will increase till infinite times. Any number of times you try to close it, it will give you the next pipeline space or the editing space with next sequence number. Okay, the intention of this is Snaplogic designer cannot have, okay, the page without the editing space. This page cannot be there as per Snaplogic without the editing space. Editing space is mandatory for Snaplogic. That's where they have given this basic structure or default structure by giving some sequence number, right? Make sense? So that is what the intention is. Let's say if we want to change this name, go to the pipeline parameter section here, change it. Okay, as I have given this to store in this structure, right, in this project structure or in this project. Okay, it will go and save in that in that space. So here there is this project column or project identifier. It shows that the pipeline has saved under project space and Manoj Shuri Shetty's project. Okay, the slash indicates before this slash before it is a project space. After the slash, it is a project. Inside the project space of projects and inside the project of project, Manoj Shuri Shetty has been saved. So if I go and take a look, okay, this is the project space. Okay, Manoj Shuri Shetty. Okay, this is the pipeline. I can see, right? So likewise, if you can, if I close this again, it will give me a new number. Make sense? Okay. So let me go ahead and talk about few more things. So we have discussed about snaps. We have discussed about pipelines. We have discussed about patterns. We have uh, we have discussed about this group by tab, wherein we can group the snaps accordingly based on type, based on snap pack. If we click on none, it will give all the snaps. Okay, it will not logically grouped into a snap pack. Instead, it will give us all the snaps here. Okay, according to the name. I mean, starts with A. It will just give in a alphabetical order. If I select none in group by, and if I select the type, it will give me those 6 types that we have discussed: read, pass, transform, flow, format, write. Okay. If I group by snap pack, these are all the things that are logically grouped into a snap pack. Okay. So these things we have discussed. We can also search, right, for our specific snap if we know what we need to add. Once we search that, we can drag it out and see what is the snap. Okay, that is the purpose of the search box here. If we want to remove this, we can remove it like this. So in this tab or the left part of this tab, we have discussed almost everything except the snaps. Okay, we will discuss in future, but every other things we know, right? Okay, there is one thing that I left to tell you actually. So in this pipeline, we will be able to see. Don't worry about this Snaplogic pattern catalog. Okay, this is something default that they have given just for this trial account. Okay, this won't be available normally. You will be having shared projects, project space, and there will be different project space if you create anything on your own. Okay, but they have given by default, they will give you this two. There will be this shared project space. In this shared project space, you can again develop a pipeline. Okay, you can develop a pipeline, or you can create a project under this or develop a pipeline under that. But the basic structure or basic convention from Snaplogic is that we should be having a project space under that project and under that pipeline. Okay, this is the structure that they have given for the shared space. But for our, let's say we have created a project space and we cannot create a pipeline directly under the project space because that is not that viability that they have not given to us. We need to do it under the project at any point of time. So the structure here is projects under that, this is the project space, project and the pipeline. But for the shared space, they have given this ability that under the project space itself, they can create a pipeline. Make sense? They don't need a project under this project space necessarily. It's not mandatory. But for our purpose, when we create our own project space or when we use the project space, we definitely need a separate project to identify based on the business logic or the business purpose. It could be for sales, marketing, etc. Right? So what sort of pipelines will go to the shade? That is our basic question. So to the shade location, shade itself, we common in layman terms, we commonly know what is shade. Shade is nothing which can be used by multiple people, okay, at a time, or different point of instances, right? Shade is something, the pipelines that are available in this can be used by any of the project spaces below. So shade, when we create a pipeline in the shared project space, that pipeline can be available anywhere outside of that, or can be used outside of that by giving the necessary permissions. The only purpose of shade, why they have given the shade project space, is any pipeline that you think that you will be using in multiple project spaces, that you will be going to put, or you will go and write your logic or build a pipeline in this project space. Okay, that is the purpose of shared project space here. Okay, once if you have your pipeline available in the shades project space, you can call it or you can use it from the different project spaces. Okay, I will show you an example in future, one when we are actually developing or creating a pipelines. But for now, try and remember that if there is a pipeline that we have created within the Snaplogic shade space, that will be used, okay, that will be used or that can be used outside of this project space shade, and anywhere in the other project space like projects or something or something or something. Make sense? So for now, if you can see, there are in this screenshot there are different project spaces, correct? Complex JSON is one project space. Customer one is another project space. Data lake, data sources, demonstration, these are different project spaces that they have given as an example. Let's say, okay, let's say I have created a pipeline XYZ in the shade. So that pipeline can be used, okay, in any of these project spaces. We can directly call that pipeline which is there in the shared project space into, or from the pipeline here to there. Okay, we can create a pipeline and we can call that pipeline which is there in the shared project space using this pipeline. I will show you in depth when we are actually discussing the actual pipeline creation as said. But for now, try and remember that shared project space is something which is common for everyone, and anyone can refer to that pipeline within this space and from the different project spaces. Okay, that is the main intention of the shade, just to have it common for every other project space, wherein let's say there is a sales project space and marketing project space. I want to use this pipeline within marketing project space. Two things what I can do is I can create a pipeline within this, or I can create a pipeline directly within the marketing. But let's say if I create common pipeline or a pipeline that I want to share across all the projects, okay, all the project spaces under this marketing project space itself, that won't be available because that is intended within the project space itself. That won't be accessible, right? In that case, what we have to do is we have to move that pipeline to the shared space. In that case, the pipeline within that shared space can be shared or can be used across all the different project spaces. That is the purpose of this shared project space. And the other thing is there is another shade inside the project also. Don't get confused with the shade outside of the project space to the shade within the project. There are two shade project spaces. This will be in the same structure. Just remember that shade outside of the projects is commonly shared, or commonly shared pipeline can be put here, wherein those pipelines can be used in different project spaces. Okay, but there is another shade also within the project, within the project space. We can call it as a shared project. Okay, this is a project space, shared project space. This is a project. Under the project space, we have another project called shared. Okay, the structure will be same. If we create a sales project space, under that by default, when you create a project, there will be this shared project that will be given by Snaplogic for common. Okay, so what is the purpose of this shared? Okay, let's say what is the purpose of the project space shared. Let's say there is a pipeline that they want to use in anywhere in the project space, they can put it here. Same like that, let's say there is a pipeline that they want to use anywhere in the below pipelines, they'll put it here. The purpose is same. The only difference is if we put a pipeline within the shared project space, it will be available for every other project space. Okay. But let's say if we put a pipeline within a specific project space under the shared project, that pipeline can be called or can be used within the different pipelines. Okay. If we put a pipeline here in the common shade or the project space shade, that pipeline can be used any other project space. Any other project space that can be used or that can be called. The other difference from this shade or about this shade is if we put a pipeline under this, okay, under this project, that can be called within these other projects inside those pipelines. So let's say I have a pipeline in this shade project. I can use that pipeline within this project or within this project or within this project or within this project. The 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 definition is same for the shade. Both the shade acts the same, but the only difference is if we put the pipeline in this shade, it will be available for all the project spaces. If we put the pipeline here, it will be available for all the projects. Okay, I understand this will be a bit confusing for you. I suggest that you go and take a look at this session because I have reiterated the things most of the times, many times. Okay, you will get to know. Right? Make sense? Okay, so snaps we have covered, pipelines we have covered, what is the shared project space we have covered, what is the project space we have covered, what is the shared project here we have covered, right? What are patterns we have covered, okay? And we have covered this grouping of all these things, okay? So the left tab or the catalogs, we have discussed everything except the snaps. We have discussed about everything. So now we should be able to be in a position to understand what are these three catalogs and what is the purpose of each catalogs, how we can use these things, is use these catalogs in the pipeline development. We should be able to answer those. Okay, so if we, let's say if we don't want to see this also, you can click on this, it will go off. If we want to rewatch it, I mean, it will come off. So this is some additional thing that they have given. Now the other things here is plus and this download button, plus and this arrow button. Sorry, I won't call it as a download button, I call it as a arrow button. Okay, for now. But in, I mean, within no time you will get to know what is this. So if I click on this plus, which means I can add a pipeline or create a pipeline. Okay, if I click on this plus, it will give me this pop-up, okay, where I can create my sample project or sample pipeline. Okay, I can take it to the respective location. I will be putting it to this. I can change it out and save it. So this pipeline now will go and save it under projects 2109 sample pipeline. Okay, by using this plus symbol, we actually create or add a pipeline. So this is the purpose of plus. Okay, Now this option is used to import a pipeline. Okay, let me show you how we can do it. So for now, I will show you the export also. There is this pipeline. Okay, I want to export this pipeline. Export in the sense download this pipeline. How I can do it is, there is this left arrow pointing it, right? So if I see this, there is this upward arrow, right? If you click on this, there will be two options provided. One is export. Export is nothing but download, and other one is print. Print is nothing but it will be giving you this sample PDF file, or where you can print it out or something. Export is the mainly used attribute here. So once you click on this, it will export. In the sense, see this, it has downloaded it. If you can see, the pipeline has downloaded with the extension .slp. So basically, if you want to save a text file, what is the extension? .txt. If you want to save a CSV file, what will be the extension? .csv. Right? If we want to save an Excel file, what is the extension? That could be .xls or .xlsx, right? Likewise, if we download a Snaplogic pipeline, the extension will be .slp every time. The thing that you need to remember is, whenever you download a pipeline, the extension will be .slp. Okay, so how it will download is the actual pipeline name underscore Snaplogic. By default, it will add the date, today's date, to the Snaplogic pipeline when you download it. If you can see in the hover, I mean, I have highlighted that below. It has given me the 2023-04_12, right? But if you see the actual pipeline name above, did I put it? No. But when you download it, Snaplogic understands that we may download this multiple times, just for us to understand that at which date we have downloaded this pipeline. Okay, that's where they are giving this date also. Okay, now we have downloaded. So how we can download a pipeline? There will be this arrow button. We have to click on it. Then there will be this export pipeline option. Once you click on it, there will be two options available. Once you click on export, it will export the pipeline. So let's say I want to download this sample pipeline now. Okay. If this is not saved, it just save it once. Okay. Click on this arrow, top arrow, export pipeline, and click on that. Again, it will download with a date .slp file. Okay, and there is other option also. As I told you, there is this print. If I click on print, it will give me this print. As there is no pipeline, it is not showing anything. Let me show you an example with a file, maybe, I mean, with a pipeline. So we have developed this, right? So if I want to sorry, not this, if I want to print it, see this, right? This is how they have printed it, all the statistics about that. We can export all these things. So they will be giving you this basic thing that you have developed there. And after that, what are the properties that we have used? What are the snaps we have used? Like we have used file reader snap. What is CSV parser snap? What are the different attributes or fields that we have used to within this snap? Mapper we have used, SQL Server insert we have used, mapper again we have used, mapper one. Okay, and some notes they have given. Okay, it will export everything within the snaps along with the screenshot of the pipeline and what we have configured in each snap. So this is how it will export. See, in the transformations we have done XYZ. They have exposed, I mean, or exposed outside that as that also. Right, within the mapper I have done this in maybe last session or last before session. So they have exposed that as well outside. So if we want to see, we can see that actually. Okay, so this is how we can export a pipeline. Now I will talk about this option called import a pipeline. Okay, the symbol suggests that down arrow into this box means into the Snaplogic. Okay, upward arrow outside of this box means export a pipeline. Export in the sense download a pipeline. Okay, if I want to import a pipeline, what I will do is I will click on this. It will take me here. Go to the downloads. Where is that? It has downloaded actually. So .slp file you can see, right? If I click on that, this is the SLP file I want to upload. Open. Okay. Once I click on that, it will open this add new pipeline pop-up. Okay, and it will ask me the same name. If you can see, the date is not appended here. Date is only available when you download it, and even when you try to upload it, Snaplogic will not consider that date because that is being automatically added by the Snaplogic, right? And it will give us another option also into which project we want to push it, right? We have 4 projects available. Okay, I can push it to any of this project. Let's use the same project. Save it, right? So if I can see 2109, there are 2 projects. I have created the project here. I have downloaded it. I have moved it to, or I have copied it to somewhere into other place. Are we able to understand how we can upload now? Click on this. There will be a pipeline, sample pipeline. Open. It will ask us for the project. Let's use the same. Save it. It will ask. It has thrown us another pop-up. What it was telling us now? Error occurred while saving the pipeline. What is the problem? An asset with the same name already exists. Can choose overwrite or cancel. It means the project that I'm trying to import with the same pipeline name, there is another pipeline already. Already there is another pipeline with the same name. So they have given us 2 options now. One thing is overwrite. Overwrite in the sense the earlier pipeline will be overwritten with the new pipeline. Okay. And the other thing is cancel. Cancel is nothing but we can cancel the import directly. We don't want to cancel it. So if I cancel it, it will just cancel it. But I want to export somehow. What I can do? Click on open. Now save it and overwrite. So it will overwrite the existing pipeline. So this is the new pipeline now. Existing pipeline is gone. Import successful. Also, they have shown you the thing actually. Okay. Were we able to catch it? How we can import? So we are in a situation now, like we were able to understand, or we are able to understand how to import a pipeline, how to add a pipeline, how this name is being generated, right? All these components to your left we have covered, except the snaps. Everything we have covered, right? Now, what's the title? Now let me go and explain you the right part. Okay, these are called the tools section. Okay, now there is this first tab. Okay, what it is showing me, there is this drop down and it is showing me the Cloudplex. Cloudplex is nothing but a Snaplex given for this Snaplogic trial version account. So let's say if I am in a customer environment, it's not a trial version. There will be different Snaplexes. So in this drop down, anyway, you can go to manager and you can see, I mean, dashboard, you can see, go to the dashboard and you can see how many Snaplexes or Cloudplex or Groundplex are configured and what are the nodes. But to let your pipeline run in one of the Snaplex, they have given this option. Okay, as there is this as this is a trial version, we don't have option to shift to other Cloudplex or Groundplex or whatever the plex that we have. Okay, the basic purpose of this drop down is select multiple plexes, or multiple in the sense select any one plex from the multiple plexes available. But as this is the trial version, we don't have multiple plexes. There could be multiple plexes also. We can select any one of them. That is the purpose of this drop down, right? And you already know what is this. This is a play button to execute a pipeline. I have showed you a demo yesterday, right? So if I just hit this, it will show me, it will just execute the things and it will give me the results, right? What is this 0110? 0110 is for the pipeline statistics. The other place where you can see the statistics is dashboard. About all the pipelines you can see it in the dashboard, but for this particular pipeline you can see the statistics here. If you click on this 0110 tab about the pipeline statistics, you will get the statistics here, like how much CPU it has, what is the memory, how many bytes, what is the number of documents, how much time it has taken, duration. If you see, it has taken 0.001 seconds to give us the results. So likewise, you can be able to see the statistics. There is this extra details also, which will be a metadata of this particular pipeline. Like what is the path in the Snaplogic trial account, inside the project space, inside the Manoj Surisetti of 3 project, I have this pipeline on which Snaplex and node it has ran. Snaplex is Cloudplex and it has run on this node. There will be different nodes. I mean, I have shown you also earlier. Okay. And user is username, and this is my user. They have given this slot. Slot is nothing but on slot 5 it has ran. Okay, I will give you more information on this slot. This is a bit you will get confused if I speak about it now. Slot, just remember that there will be slots also that will be given to the pipeline to run. Okay, there is this resumable mode, which is again a bit advanced topic. I will let you know in future. Okay, and what is the transition, at what time it has ran, and what is the state of this each snap. So 8:58 it is prepared, 8:58 33 seconds same time it is executing, and at the same time it has completed also. Okay, if there are multiple snaps, it might take 1-2 minutes further, but as this there is one snap that is being executed, that is mapper. The other sequence that we have disabled anyway, this stop mark you can see is nothing but disabled. We have disabled the snap. So that's where the other 4 snaps are not being executed. Only one snap is being executed, that is mapper. And it has taken 0.001 seconds as we shown in earlier statistics. If you can see, this is this 0.001 seconds. So at the same time, it has prepared, executing, and completed also. Prepared, it will be prepared at 8:58, executing, and completed. And if we denote it in a color mode, it will be in yellow. Okay, in executing. Once it is completed, it will be in green state. Let me open and show you. So in prepared, it will be in a normal color. It says that it is being prepared. When it is executing, it will turn into yellow. That pipeline or that snap will turn into yellow. Once it is completed, it will turn into green. Let's say if it has failed, okay, it will give you the red color. Let me just enable this and let me run now. See this? The statuses has changed earlier. Earlier it used to be started, preparing or executing, and then completed because it has successfully run. But now see, it has 2 other status, stopping and failed. It is stopping because of these red colors, because the configuration is not set up according to this snap, because there are some mandatory fields that I have missed to include. Okay, that's where they are throwing the stopping and failed, and the timestamps at which it is being stopping and it is being failed. This is where we can see the transition. Make sense? So we have spoken about this and the executing of a pipeline and the pipeline statistics. We know this pipeline, how it works. I mean, this attribute, this is a save option. Okay. When I hover it, it is saying no changes needed, and it has turned into light blue color or light gray color. But let's say if I have added something, oh, sorry. See this save pipeline now. It is saying you can save the pipeline. It is not saying that no changes done, but there are some changes done. You can save it. Once I click on this, once it saves, it will turn into light gray color or light blue again. You know this thing. This is a validation option to see the results, right? Earlier in the last session we have spoken about this. So if you click on this, you will get the results here in the light green color. So in the validation option itself, you will be able to see the results here. So that's where once that V is clicked, it has turned into tick mark. If you see, it means that it has successfully validated these results. Okay, if I click on retry, it will again turn, and once it gives the results, it will turn into tick mark. Tick mark in the sense everything has validated successfully. Make sense? And now the other option is this pipeline parameters. Just remember about this label itself. There are other tabs or other components within this edit pipeline or the pipeline parameters. I will let you know when we are actually dealing with the pipeline, because when you try to develop a pipeline and use this according to that, you will be able to get it more fastly. Now it will be confusing to you. Okay, just try and remember two things here. One is label and the other one is project. Label you can change at any point of time. Project is something where your pipeline is located, like under which project space and under which project your pipeline is located. Okay, there are other tabs also, I will let you know. This pencil symbol is nothing but notes. Okay, what is the purpose of notes in a pipeline? So in future, let's say you have developed something and you will be able to understand what this pipeline does within your pipeline name itself. Let's say Salesforce to Oracle, that is my pipeline name. By seeing the pipeline name itself, I will be able to understand. But to give you more information, or to give more information about this pipeline, what it does, I will go and click on this. There will be two tabs or two parameters that will be provided here. Once we click on add new note, it will be given a note. What this pipeline does, reads the file from a file and push the content to the SQL server. So I have given this, okay, so that people or maybe myself can understand this. So they have given my name here so that it indicates that I have added these notes. Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So if you can see, I can add any number of notes, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. I can delete the notes. If I click on the delete notes, it will give me that into mark. I can click on that, click on that, click on that, click on that. If you can see, the number is reducing here. Now it is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So this is the actual notes that we have given, and we can drag it anywhere in the pipeline. We can put it anywhere in the editor tab, right? I can put it here. Okay. Once I click on this, it will go off, and it shows that one notes has been added to this pipeline. So if I click on it again, you can see the notes here. Okay, you can delete and add any number of notes. So if I want to add anything, I can just have it here and I can put it here, something like that. And I can add any additional points, something. I mean, I can add anything. Now it shows two nodes has been added. Just for the information about this pipeline, we can use this. Okay. This I have explained you already. This is the option to export or download the pipeline. And within this, there are two subcomponents, export and print. Export is to download. Print is to give you the whole information about the pipeline, what are the settings and everything in a documented format. Okay, for your future reference, what is the things that you have used, you can just have this as a printed format. Okay, and this one is bit advanced for you to create a versions. For this I need maybe a 15-20 minutes to explain you what is a version, how we can play around, and how we can create a different version. I'll get back to you on this tomorrow, early tomorrow, maybe in first 10-15 minutes I'll let you know. Okay, and about this also, oh, this is easy. I mean, we already know how to create a task from manager, right? There is an option that I have given here also. This is an additional feature or the latest feature that is given by Snaplogic for creating a task here. So if I click on this, it will be giving me a different, we already know all these two. This will be, this we will be discussing in future. So create a task, it will give us the pop-up again, and some things we already know how we can do it, right? This is to create a pipeline, task for a pipeline. And the other thing is, the next thing is copy. So this file to SQL Server is the pipeline I have. I want to copy this to, this is in Manoj Surisetti space. I want to copy this to sample POC. What I can do is come here, click on this. Here it is saying destination. Check what is the destination. So I will select this, copy. So if I refresh it, there will be this file to SQL Server in two places, here and here also, because I have copied it, right? And this is a compare. Okay, we can compare a pipeline. We can compare a pipeline from, I mean, we can compare two pipelines. Actually, this is the actual use of the comparing of a pipeline. Okay, so if I go and check what is this project space, what is the choose pipeline to compare to SQL Server. Why this has taken already this one is, we clicked the compare option within this pipeline. Let's say I have opened this Snaplogic POC. Okay, this is the thing I want to compare. So if you can see, one thing they have already confirmed, because we have clicked that compare option coming to this project already, I mean this pipeline already. So one thing is already fixed within this, and we can select other pipeline also. So change the pipeline name maybe. Okay, compare the pipeline, it will give us the comparison. So this is other pipeline, this is other pipeline. Okay, these two are different, totally different, right? That's where they have not shown anything similar or identical. Okay, if there are currently identified, I mean same identified, then they will be able to show us something similar. Is it similar or identical or something? It is showing deleted here, it is showing nothing here. Okay, the base thing will be the pipeline that we have selected. Okay, it will take this pipeline as a base, and it will compare this pipeline with the other pipeline that we have selected, right? Make sense? Click on this, maybe file to SQL Server, compare. Okay, Snaplogic, this is the base pipeline and this is the other pipeline. So similar. What are the similar snaps that we have from this to that? So file reader and CSV parser are the similar snaps. Here also file reader and CSV parser are the similar snaps. What are the deleted snaps? Deleted snaps in the sense from this pipeline to the other pipeline, what are the snaps that are not available? So file reader, CSV parser, file reader, CSV parser are not there to this snap. Okay. Similar. What are the similar? There are no identical. There are no identical snaps. That's where it has turned light gray. Otherwise, it would be in dark black or bolded black, if I would say. This is to compare one pipeline to another pipeline. When will you compare? Let's say in different project spaces. Okay. I mean, maybe within the different within a single project space, there are different projects, and you have same pipeline name. Then you want to compare the changes and see what are the additional things that are there, which one to be used. Let's say if you are in a confusion that which pipeline do I need to use or complete the coding, okay, then you can use this comparison option and decide, okay, what are the latest changes, and if you see according to the requirement, this will be the perfect use, you can take that pipeline and go forward. So comparison is just to see what are the differences or similarities or any added or deleted ones that we have from one pipeline to the other pipeline. That's where we can use this compare option also. Okay. And the other things here is these three components or subcomponents: zoom in, zoom out, zoom to fit in. Okay. If I click, let's say minus, 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 if I click on this, zoom to fit in, it will just fit according to the screen size. This is zoom in, zoom out, fit into the screen. Okay. These are the different tools that we are gonna use in future within this Snaplogic designer. So almost 90% of the things that we have covered within the designer. All the tools, all the catalogs, all the different subcomponents that are available within those, how we can add, delete. Deletion is not available within designer. Deletion is with the manager. When manager section comes, I'll explain you. Okay. Add, export, import, run, statistics, save, validation, pipeline parameters, but there are subsections. I will explain you tomorrow. Uh, Notes, how I can give the notes, export a pipeline. This also I will discuss. Create a task, copy, and compare. Okay. I will talk about this high level stuff in future, maybe tomorrow or when I get the time, as these are not important for now, but when time comes I will discuss within those or in parallel with those.
Yes, sir.
This is a search, direct search that they have given, a global search. Okay. Within the search you can get different things from the Snaplogic actual Snaplogic documentation and everything. Okay, this is a global search, but I will discuss more about these other things. Make sense? So yeah, that is it for today. Um, okay, we have discussed all these things in the toolbar, all the components and according to that and tools and everything that we have discussed. So that is it for today. Let me know now if you have any questions on the topic that we have discussed.
Hi Manoj, I have a question.
Yeah, Shaz, go ahead.
Can you please move to that pipeline where you have disabled one of the snaps?
Sure, sure. Yeah, just a second. Uh-huh. Yeah.
So here, this pipeline
Mhm.
is the minimum required structure to for a pipeline to work, right? If we disable one of either of the snaps, how will it work?
So if I disable here,
Yes.
okay, the next sequence, the coming sequence will not work, or will not, the documents will not process through. The execution stops here itself, because every snap is interconnected. If
Exactly.
data is not coming from this snap, it will not go to this, and the next sequence will not go. Let's say I have enabled this snap, okay, but instead I have disabled it here. Now the first snap will execute. From second snap to last, things will not execute.
Okay. So what is the idea behind disabling any of
Uh,
the?
Disabling is just for our development purpose. Let's say if we are validating some things, okay, we don't want to push the data to the target until and unless we realize, or we are safe to know that the data is looking good. Okay, generally what we generally do is we disable the target. In the actual development environment, what we basically do is we disable the target, just to understand how the data till here is looking fine or not. If that looks fine, okay, we will enable it and we will try to process.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, that's the basic purpose actually. It's just for our development purpose, nothing specific.
All right. Thank.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yeah, please.
Sir, like as you tell me, September 2109 have no pipeline. Exactly. So, sir, my question is that how can we use in that, and why need in this option?
Mm, Sorry, Sonali. I mean, I'm not getting your question. Do one thing. Ask your question in Hindi. Maybe someone will just explain me, or let me know that question in English maybe.
ओके ओके सर जैसा कि आपने बताया कि सितंबर 2109 एक ऑप्शन है जिसमें कोई आई उसमें कोई पाइपलाइन नहीं है तो सर मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि उसका यूज मतलब कैसे कर सकते हैं एंड उसका क्यों नीड है मतलब उसकी
So I understand your question. So I have showed you that September 2109 project space, and there are no pipelines there. What is the purpose and what is the use of it, right?
यस यस
So it's just a basic structure that Snaplogic has given to us. There is no purpose for that. But basically, if we create a project, there should be project space, there should be a project and pipelines also in general working environment. For now, there will be empty project spaces also, because we are playing around with that. It's not it's in future when you work live, and when you see things, the structure will be there. It is just a trial version. They have given it empty. That's it.
ओके सर सेकंड इज वन दैट जैसा कि creating the pipeline and we can edit in this so save it is and so sir my question is that how to
You can ask in Hindi. No worries.
हाँ सर जैसे आप क्रिएटिंग अच्छा हम पाइपलाइन क्रिएट करते हैं एंड उसको हम सेव करते हैं तो सर मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि सर इसको हम सेव करते हैं तो इसको हम इजीली फाइंड आउट कैसे कर सकते हैं
Find out कैसे कर सकते हैं मतलब, I mean, how can we find it?
how can we find out this project data file in this within your screen please
No,
explain
thing is, when you validate the things, right, you will be able to see, or when you change something on a snap level, okay, so then you will be getting some changes in the snap. Then only we will go and save it. Then the snap will understand, or it will retry or revalidate the things. Okay,
okay
then it will give us right or wrong. I mean, failure or success, whatever it is. Otherwise, we will do the changes again and we will save and then we will see the results again. So that's how it is.
Mhm. Mhm. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions, team?
Yeah, hi Manoj. Shivam this side.
Yeah, sure. Yes.
So, as you said, whenever we save the pipeline, so it's
Mhm.
detecting the current date automatically and saves with the date.
Correct.
Yeah, so it's necessary. Can we change it or
We cannot. I mean, that date is generally given by the Snaplogic itself when it downloads. And if you clearly see earlier, what it has done is when you try to import, it has removed the date also. So date is just for the Snaplogic purpose. For let's say if we want to download it, it is just trying to append it. It is not in our control. That Snaplogic does it by itself. And when you upload it, it will try to remove that, because we actual pipeline, for the actual pipeline we have not added it. Snaplogic has added it for the date for that, right? It will try to remove, and when you import it, there will be no date, something like that.
so is Snaplogic it's using for like primary key or
That could be, I mean, that could be a purpose for them, just to have a ad, just have the date, just the Snaplogic tries to understand something. But for us, it doesn't make any difference, even if it downloads with a date or not. uh, it's just that it is following some convention along with the date. When you retry and upload it back to the Snaplogic, it will remove that. So that's the main thing that we need to remember, actually.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Manoj, can we have like multiple workspace under the Snaplogic?
No, only one edit space, actually. You cannot have
Okay.
only one
And
editor where you can edit the pipelines.
okay. And one more thing is like I personally feel that now we comes on more practical part, right?
Right.
So as I feel like if we do the some login activity and make some project, delete,
Mhm.
alter, change,
So
pipeline,
actually,
create
we are
anything.
working on your user access. So Prashant and team will get back to you on that.
Mm-hmm.
They are actually working on it, actually.
Okay, okay, got it.
Yeah.
No worry. Thank you.
So we will let you know once they are
Yeah,
available, so that you can play around with this.
yeah, because there are many options like we need to hands-on experience,
Yeah, yeah. I
some
understand.
practical things.
I
Yeah.
understand. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything, team?
Uh, One thing more, Manoj.
Yeah.
So in the organization, so now what type of projects are using Snaplogic?
Any place where integration is needed, they are using Snaplogic mostly. Like, they want to communicate from one system to other system. Most of the companies use
So like which
a
organization
Snaplogic like
and
integration
so
tool
like
they needed.
which I'm saying like which organization and which type of users, which type of projects.
Projects and everything that I cannot disclose. But companies, big companies like Microsoft, uh, Cognizant and whatnot. I mean, uh, LTI. Likewise, big companies are using for their different projects. Actually, projects we cannot disclose, but yes, they are using it.
Uh, like domain.
Domain could be different. Health industry they are using. Portfolio management they are using. Advertising agency they are using. So different domains. Not it is not particular to a single domain.
Okay.
Yep. Any questions, team? No questions. Are we good? Are we able to understand the things that we have discussed till now?
One more question.
Yep. Yeah, Shaju. Go ahead.
Uh, since if we talk about this app, we are doing the same integration process in SAP also.
Okay.
In Kubernetes, we are also making some pipelines.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is basic difference between all these three: Snaplogic, SAP, and
So,
Kubernetes?
Sajal, in market, we have different integration tools that were developed by different companies for their own purpose. Okay. Microsoft has this SSIS. I'm just naming, okay? Don't get confused. SSIS is an integration tool. Dell, you know Dell, right? Dell
Yes.
has this Dell Boomi, which is an integration tool. Okay. Uh, Workato is one tool like Snaplogic. They all do the same purpose, like integrating things. Okay. But there comes the cost. Okay. How they process the data and how much speed they can integrate the solutions. That's where companies will decide which tool do I need to use. And there
Oh,
are hundreds of tools available in market. From Oracle, they have something. From SQL Server, they have something. SQL Server, in the sense, Microsoft, they have something. From Google, they have something. Likewise, Snaplogic is one such tool. They are using mostly these days because that is cost effective, and it doesn't care about the data. It only speaks about the metadata, and it is a cloud tool. The main thing is it is a cloud tool. Cloud tool in the sense you can go to the browser and hit this elastic.snaplogic.com, give your username and password, you can develop, right? You can do
oh,
it everywhere needed, right? You don't need one system, you have to sit there. Let's say if it has to install in your system, you have to every day go back and log into the system, then only you can see, right? So
oh,
those are on premise tools mostly in market. 80% of the tools like that itself. Nowadays we are seeing this cloud tool. Snaplogic is a cloud tool. Likewise, there are some cloud tools also, but there are a bit high cost. When the customer needs, customer definitely look for a low cost and the solutions they are trying to provide you, right?
oh,
So they depend,
okay,
or they decide on that which tool do I go and pick it up and do my integrations actually.
okay, I get it. Thank you.
Yeah. If there are no questions, Prashant, I think we can wind up.
Yes, yes, we can wind up. Manoj.
Okay. Thanks, team. We'll catch you tomorrow.
Thank you, Manoj.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you, sir.
you.
Thank you, Parag.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, team. Thank you, Manoj. Thank you, Ravi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.